After winning our last few games, we moved back up to the 10th ranked team in the nation, and who knows, if a couple of things bounce our way, we could be back in the hunt to make the college football playoffs. We've got 2 games left since the American Conference doesn't have a conference championship. After Memphis, our last game is against SMU. Both of these teams are hovering around 500, and they're the last 2 teams in the way of a Louisville team record. I found Amari on our first drive for a 45-yard touchdown, which set the tone early on offense. But it was immediately canceled out by probably my worst play of the season, as I tried to lateral the ball on a read option to Jawar Jordan, and it was intercepted and brought all the way back for a Memphis touchdown. I did make up for it really quickly, though, as we got back on Memphis' side of the field, and I found Chris Bell on a slant for a 30-yard pass, and he was almost able to get into the end zone, but got knocked out right at the 1-yard line. Later on 2nd and goal, we found Rich Crawford on a short curl route in the end zone for a touchdown, giving us a 13-7 lead as we missed the PAT. Memphis wasn't able to answer, and I found Amari Huggins-Bruce near the 50-yard line right before the end of the first quarter, and early in the second quarter, I almost got into the end zone, but I was brought down by a defensive end, and we settled for a field goal. Midway through the third, I loved Coach's play calls. He did a really good job of keeping the defense off balance with some options and some play action rollouts. Memphis was holding up despite the great play calls, and then on 2nd and 8, I was trying to buy some time scrambling, and I ended up taking a hit as it was going out of bounds that aggravated my shoulder injury, and I needed help getting back up. I was angry with myself for putting myself in a position to take a dumb hit like that in the first place this late in the season, and I had to sit on the bench until I was cleared to return with 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter. You can see that I definitely learned my lesson sliding after picking up the first down, and then later in the drive, it's 3rd and 11, and we run a halfback screen, which was incredibly conservative, which gets blown up, and Memphis takes the lead 20-19, and we run another halfback screen on 1st and 10. This time I use it for myself to get near the 50 with only 30 seconds left. And then who do we trust most when the game is on the line? With 17 seconds left, we find Amari Huggins-Bruce underneath on a drag route to pick up the first down, and then later on 2nd and 10, we find Amari Huggins-Bruce on a corner route to get in the end zone and give us a 5-point lead, and we go for 2, and we hit Amari Huggins-Bruce once more to give us that 7-point lead, and it turned out not to be necessary as Memphis wasn't able to score, and we walk out with a huge comeback W after I come back from the shoulder injury. And our last game of the season is now against SMU, and it is the deciding game to determine whether or not we're going to make the college football playoffs. We're wearing our black and red unis for our night game at home against SMU, and we moved up to number 8 in the standings at this point. On our first drive, though, I have a catastrophic fumble to start the game, and it almost goes out of bounds, but SMU does end up recovering the ball, and they end up getting a field goal out of it. Between all the rivalry games in the final week of the season and conference championships the following week, there's definitely a shot that we can move up to the top 4, especially with only 1 loss. After another conservative 3rd and 10 halfback screen that failed, we fall down 10-0, and now it's time to really lock in even more. Preston Stone, the quarterback for SMU, is looking really good early against our defense, and so this drive at the end of the first is critical. The linebacker's been on the play action fake to Jawar, and I found Chris Bell wide open over the middle for a 20-yard gain to put us on their side of the field finally. The drive is starting to fall apart a little bit, so I run a read option keeper and almost pick up the first down, but on 4th down, I keep the drive alive with my legs, picking up another first down. But we do get into another 3rd and long situation, making it 3rd and 15, and I do find Chris Bell once again for another huge first down pickup. I'm not going to let this drive end without a touchdown, as I find Des Melton for our first touchdown of the game, but SMU answers themselves to give them a 10-point lead again, but we aren't running the clock out before half, as I find Rich Crawford for a nice 20-yard pickup, getting us on SMU's side of the field. We found out Amari Huggins-Bruce for another first down, and then unfortunately on 1st and 10 we take a big sack, pause. SMU's D is putting a lot of pressure on me, pause, and I almost take another sack, but I break free and try to make a play down the field, but I don't see anyone, and I end up taking another hit on the sideline, resulting in another fumble that does end up being a turnover with a minute left. Preston Stone ends up making us pay, scoring another touchdown for SMU, but on a last-second Hail Mary, we get in position for a field goal to make it a 2-score game right before the end of the first half. We ended up with the ball to start the second half, and Jawar breaks off a 23-yard run, almost taking it to the house. Despite the great start, we run an option on 3rd and 3 and get stuffed, and we end up missing the field goal, which absolutely killed our momentum. Our defense came up with a huge stop, getting us the ball back, but then we get into another 3rd and 8. I take a sack, and SMU finally scores a touchdown, taking a 31-10 lead. I do find Amari Huggins-Bruce to get us back over across the 50-yard line, and then I find him again to get us into the red zone. This crowd is stunned at this point, though, and they're completely silent. I escape outside the pocket and use my legs to get us into the end zone, making it a 2-score game again. At this point, with 3 minutes left, we're getting as gritty as we can, fighting for our bowl game and potential college football playoff opportunity. I escaped outside and found Rich Crawford to get us past the 50-yard line, and then I found Des Melton to get us into the red zone again. With 2 minutes remaining, I tried to find our backup tight end Sherman on a short out route, but it got knocked away, and so on 3rd and 6, I escaped outside the pocket and picked up the first down, but I couldn't get into the end zone. Still fighting for our playoff lives. It is do or die at this point. On 4th and goal, we run a play action on the outside. I find Rich Crawford, who holds onto the ball for a touchdown to make it a 7-point game. With a minute remaining, we run an onside kick that gets immediately recovered by SMU, but we still have the opportunity with timeouts to potentially stop them. Our defense light up on 3rd and 6 to stop the run, and Preston Stone dropped a bomb, getting him down to the 1-yard line, and then SMU ended up scoring another touchdown to give them a 2-possession lead. With 30 seconds remaining, I found Sherman, who nearly got into the end zone, and we hustled up to the line of scrimmage to quickly snap the ball, and with 17 seconds remaining, I found Chris Bell on a slant to get us within one score again. We tried our luck with another onside kick, and this time it bounced off of an SMU player, but unfortunately it landed out of bounds. And the team was shocked, the fans were shocked, and SMU came up with a huge upset victory over our team, and Preston Stone walked away with a career performance, 290 passing yards, 5 touchdowns, and 0 picks. Not to be outdone, I also had a great game myself with 340 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, and 0 picks, but it would not be enough. That one fumble at the beginning of the game kind of killed us. And so our dreams of making the college football playoffs are definitely over, but now we just have to see who we're going to play in our bowl game.